If achieved, we should continue to lobby the local authorities to ban such activities happening in Aberystwyth in general, because the environment they create not only puts students at risk, they also harm the town and gown community relationships, especially with the vast amounts of students that participate. This motion also believes that commercial bar crawls are not the only issue faced by this guild when tackling the stereotype of student binge drinking and the student culture that exists in university. We must also lobby commercial services to vary their events so that there is not a majority of nights which are solely based around the idea of drinks promotions and nothing else. I urge you to vote for this motion so that we can try and change the drinking culture that exists and stop commercial bar crawls, which are one of the main reasons for a negative stereotype of students not only in Aberystwyth but nationwide.
Anyone got any questions?
Yes. Yeah, I could accept to do that.
Do you want to propose a proper amendment?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just to end to say
Just a GM results point forward mandate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I accept that.
Okay, would anyone like to speak against it? Okay, I'll take it to a vote. All those in favour of passing the motion as amended? All those against? Any abstentions? Motion clearly passes as amended. Okay, we're now going to move on to last but not least motion. Improve student representation in the guild. This will be proposed by you and seconded by Sven. This is a constitutional amendment because it would guys, this is a constitutional amendment because to implement GM results points 1 and 2 would involve a change to the guild's constitution. The way a vote would work on that is rather than having a simple majority, as these last motions, because they're just policy motions, have needed to pass, a constitutional motion will need 75% of everyone in the room, everyone voting, so either for or against, in order to pass. That's just the way the guild's constitution is. Okay, so here we have 2 minutes to speak.
Apologies first for running some motions. I assume they'd be diluted, and I'd assume there'd be more motions, but that's not a bad thing. It's just apologies for hearing my voice all the time. I was kind of thinking what I'd like to change about the way the union works, and I guess it kind of my experience of other trustee boards and other sort of committees like this suggests that the number we've got at the moment is actually quite small, and could be expanded, and could be expanded to really positive effect by allowing these 2 new posts to really make the Guild Exec represent more students. I thought particularly two key ways in which perhaps we could do better to represent our students would be to have these 2 roles of postgraduate and international student officer. And yeah, if you like it, then vote for it. It's pretty simple on the table.
Anyone have any questions? No. Okay, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, how do we elect a postgraduate officer if the most postgraduates have been here for 1 year?
That's a very good question. Pass. Other places have things like postgraduate officers, so it's not an anomaly to have one. I don't think it's an anomaly not to have one, but I think it's really cool to have one. So I guess we'd work on it, or there's ways. I mean, for instance, having an election very early in an academic year for that academic year seems to be one reason working around that.
Next question.
Would these be paid or volunteer?
These would be additions to the part-time non-SAPs, so they would be unpaid. As indeed, apart from the fact the others, like society, sports, Welsh language, sustainability, ethics. There'll be a lot.
Do you want to amend it so it's clear to part-time officers?
Yeah. 2 new part-time positions. Happily amended.
Okay, I've had an amendment come through.
We were going to have one more question.
Amendments come first.
Okay, sorry. It's not. Just look down, just look upset, that's all.
I will come to you now.
Sorry.
Don't mind. I had an amendment through from John Beniardi to remove from GM Resolves the position of postgraduate officer. If you don't agree to this, then we take into a one against that.
What's the reason?
Do you want to discuss between yourselves and then that's it?
Right, sorry. The postgraduate president of the PGA is actually, which is elected from the postgraduate body, that's now been allowed on to the executive. So I feel like more comfortable seeing how we can develop that, and also develop the link to the PGA when we do all the work with us, and already have that sort of like, they've already got a way which is of electing the PG officer, so we already have that sort of those views on the executive. That's the only reason. There's nothing sinister, just we're already working towards that one.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I can't like that. That would mean I have to change believes 1 as well. So there's basically a postgraduate officer essentially already on the exec.
Yeah, from the PGA, they're coming in now, so it'll be the next executive.
Cool. Can we add a believes 2 that welcomes that? And then resolve 1 becomes. I'll write your wording in a second. I guess you
I'm taking what you're saying.
believes 2 is Jim. That change is a good thing. The addition of an executive position for a postgraduate representation is a good thing.
Welcome the addition of the...
Well, it's believes. Believes then welcomes.
What's all that like?
Yeah, you guys know what we're talking about. It's cool. And then resolves 1 would become to introduce 1 new position onto the Guild Executive, that 1 new part-time position onto the Guild Executive, that of international student officers.
Okay. Dan.
Thank you. More on the international officer now rather than the postgrad. What research have you done into this area is to highlight these 2 particular areas of the student body that need representation? Because I have reason to believe that before the last constitutional amendment there were various officers, the women's officer, LGBT and so on, and unfortunately it created more bureaucracy. How do you know that these 2 particular sectors of the student body are underrepresented? I mean, I know a lot of postgrads that there's a reason why they don't get involved, because they have too many other personal commitments. How can you, I mean, what research have you done to prove that these 2 positions will be beneficial and would actually be a way to resolve this representation issue?
Okay, I kind of chose these 2 because I thought they sort of, in many ways, sort of sprung to mind as two areas that I thought we could improve on. But what I would say is if you think there are others, then we'll have to on an amendment, and I wouldn't say no.
And I mean, I'm only asking because I'd like to know because I have a lot of friends who are postgrads, particularly PhD and masters. One of the reasons why they get involved, they don't get involved, is because they have too many personal commitments on top of their course and so forth. And I'm a bit concerned that creating these positions without overall strategy into involving these sectors of the student body may not necessarily be beneficial. I think possibly we need a wider strategy to involve these sectors of the student body.
Okay, I guess point of information on that would be that it would be a representative, so it would be 1 person who would commit to the time to represent students. I guess, but also if it's your opinion that the best way to involve more international students and care for them is not to have them represented specifically on the exec, then that's fine. I just think that they would.
Well, I would like to know, is this your idea or have you actually...
It's my idea.
I think it might be beneficial then to... Oh, sorry. Sorry if I asked
one more
question.
You want to? Yeah.
It's more of a point of information. Does that therefore not make the Equal Opportunities Officer defunct? Because they represent all the